Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to our Tuesday evening Bhagavad Gita discussion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinim Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaitya Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Once again, welcome everyone to our Tuesday evening Bhagavad Gita discussion. So last session we started chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita, and the overall flow of chapter 7 we discussed as the acronym HEAD, HEAD. Okay, so first three verses Lord Krishna is speaking about the importance of hearing. By hearing we develop our attraction for the Supreme Lord, and by hearing we remove so many of the misconceptions, doubts, and in that way we become fixed in the process of spiritual progress. And then the next one is where to find God, where to see God. So Krishna explained God is everywhere. We can perceive God in everything in this material creation, in this material world. And then the next one is if God is everywhere, if God exists, why wholesale rejection of God is there? Why people do not accept Krishna as the absolute truth? The next part is that's why accept or reject. Everybody has the free will. They can accept the Supreme Lord or they can reject. And there are four category of people who do not approach Krishna, who do not accept the Supreme Lord. And there are four category of people who approach Krishna, who start to approach the Supreme Lord. And then the next part is there one God, many God? Is all the different Devi Devatas are they equal? So the next part of the chapter is Devi Devatas. What is the difference between Devi Devatas and the Supreme Lord? What is the result of approaching the Devi Devatas versus the result of approaching the Supreme Lord? So that is the overall flow of chapter 7. So we discussed up to text 6 in the last session, where Krishna has started to describe that God is present everywhere. So continuing with that, now text 7 is very important, which is quoted very often. So text 7, Lord Krishna says, Mattah paratram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana eva. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as the pearls are strung on a thread. So Krishna is describing here his supremacy, that he is the highest position, because what happens is even though people may accept the Supreme, may accept the existence of God, yes, God exists, but when the question comes, who is God? then a lot of people have misconceptions. They do not have the clear understanding who is God. Some may say God is just some energy, some may say God is just some light, some may say God is just some Brahman. So that's why Krishna here is establishing the highest truth, that Krishna, the personal form of Krishna, that is the highest truth. So Krishna is saying there is nothing superior to me. Not mattah paratram nanyat. So there is nothing superior to me. Because if somebody claims ultimately Brahman is higher, okay, ultimately we have to go from the saguna to nirguna form. We have to go from the personal aspect to the impersonal aspect. That is the highest truth. The impersonal Brahman is the highest. So Krishna is saying, no, actually, I am the highest. There is nothing superior than me. If Brahman is higher, then why Krishna have to say there is nothing superior to me as I stand in front of you in this personal form? So that is the highest truth. And Krishna here gives the analogy of the beads strung on a thread. Okay, so like in a necklace or here in this neck bead, we can say all these beads, they are strung on a thread. So these beads are visible, but the thread, underlying thread is not visible. Similarly, although the individual souls have their free will to act as they desire, it is only granted by the will of the Lord. Okay, it's only granted by the Lord, who upholds them all and within whom they all exist. So, Supreme Lord in his personal form as Krishna is the highest truth. And there are so many stories which talk about how even Bhrigu Muni, right? Bhrigu Muni comes to test Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu, who is the supreme among all three. And even the demigods, even the Devi Devatas up to the level of Brahma, they become bewildered to when they see the pastimes of Krishna, they start thinking, is Krishna really the Supreme Lord, who is just acting like a small baby, small child? Is he really the Supreme Lord? So even these so much higher position Devi Devatas, they become bewildered. So what is to speak of the ordinary living entities like us? So Krishna is establishing the highest truth here, that I am the topmost reality, the absolute truth. And then how to perceive Krishna in this material creation, because as the thread is invisible in the necklace, so same way, if the whole creation is done by God, how do we perceive God who is invisible? So text 8 to 11, actually Krishna is giving a very small glimpse of his opulences, how he can be perceived in everything. And more of these Krishna will explain in chapter 10 and 11, where Arjuna asks Krishna to explain his vibhutis, different opulences. So text 8, Krishna says, O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water. I am the light of the sun and the moon. I am the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. And I am the sound in the ether and ability in man. So if we see everything here, the taste of water, the light we see in the daytime, the light of sun, at the night time, the light of the moon, and the sound vibration, how the sound vibration is traveling, and our ability, okay, our ability to even hold a phone, to lift even a pen or a pencil, everything comes from Krishna. So the taste of original water, okay, without any mixing, whatever the pure water is, Krishna says, I am the taste of the water. Now people, they are after the mineral water, right? The bottled water, spring water, and we pay so much price for the bottled water. Just imagine if there is no supply of water, what will happen to life? If somebody claim, oh, I do not drink water. Actually, we cannot live without water. Maybe 1 day, 2 day, but how long can we continue without water? So water is absolute necessity for us to sustain our lives. And Krishna says, I am the taste of that water. And if somebody says, can you show me God? Okay, nobody can claim I have never drank water. When we drink water, we can remember this water is also because of Krishna. The taste of the water which I can experience, the potency of the water to quench the thirst, that is also because of Krishna. So in that way, we can perceive Krishna. Now, science claims water is H2O, two elements of hydrogen, one element of oxygen. When they mix, that is water, H2O. But can somebody create even a glass of water in the lab? Okay, there is abundant of hydrogen and oxygen in the environment. Can in this room hydrogen and water element mix and create even a half glass water? What to speak of the vast rivers and oceans which are present on this in this universe? And when there is no rain sometime, everyone looks up to sky, right? They are hoping somewhere maybe the rain will happen. And if there is these days now, with the advancement of technology, advancement of science, they think we can get rain also based on artificial rain. These days there is the era of artificial rain. How many of you heard about artificial rain or cloud seeding? Okay. So recently also this incident happened where Dubai is flooded. There's so much rain happening in Dubai. Why is that happening? Because of artificial rain, cloud seeding. Because in Dubai, there is generally very less rain. It's a deserted land. And they are now depending on these artificial rain. And what this artificial rain means, the cloud seeding means, they will go up in the sky beyond the clouds and they want to pour some chemicals in the cloud, okay, so that the condensation can happen. And in that way, once the condensation happen, the clouds will just pour rain at that place. Otherwise the cloud can just move away from that place. So when the cloud is passing, first of all, again, for artificial rain also to happen, it's not that they are creating water, they are creating rain. They are still depending on the cloud. The cloud has to be there. The cloud has to have water content in that. Then only the only thing they are doing is artificially forcing the cloud to shower rain at that particular place by forcing the condensation to happen in that area. Again, first of all, this is what we have learned in Ishopanishad, where Krishna is speaking that everybody has their quota. Okay, everybody has to accept based on what their quota is. And if somebody is trying to gain more than their quota, they are, in one sense, they are the thieves. So the cloud seeding is also, what is that? Somebody is trying to gain that rain beyond their quota, right? Beyond their natural quota. And in that way, when somebody is forcing the rain to happen at that place at that particular time, and that's what the nature retaliates. Okay, you are forcing it beyond your quota, we will give you. You want rain? Now, okay, experience much more rain. So that is the whole karmic reaction behind this whole event which happened recently in Dubai also, and in China also. Same thing was happening. It's too much rain, which is leading to flooding. So science is depending on artificial means of acquiring some certain things from the nature. For example, this rain or sometimes some other minerals and all. And same way, the light of sun and moon. If we use electricity at night to get some light, and with little bit use of that electricity, with little bit use of that light, we get some electric bill. And just imagine, the sun is giving so much light throughout the day, And if we have to pay for that bill, what we are utilizing from the sun, how much will that bill be? And there is a whole article on that also, right? Based on, let's say, just for the Michigan state, based on the area of Michigan state and how much solar power we are utilizing, if sun starts sending the bill, how much will be that bill? And we will all go bankrupt to pay that bill. So we depend on the light of the sun and the moon. And when we are having that light, we should experience that this is because of presence of the Supreme Lord. This is because of Krishna. And then in the nature, we see so many flowers. There are so many flowers growing of so many different varieties, so many different colors, so many different fragrances, so many different textures. We can artificially try to create a plastic flower, paper flower, or we can try to paint a flower. But with that artificial flower, we cannot have that same texture, we cannot have that same fragrance or the colors. So we should appreciate the creation, the nature which God has given. See, we plant just one seed, and from that one seed, one plant grows, and on that one plant, so many flowers are growing. So many flowers come on that with so much of fragrance also. So that is the nature which Krishna has created. And in the nature, we see there are so many birds making so many different sounds. The birds are chirping in the morning, making so many different sounds. Sometime a human being may try to imitate the birds or a different animal or a beast, creating that type of sound. Like somebody is just barking like a dog, or somebody is trying to make the sound of a cuckoo bird. And somebody, when they are imitating like that, people may clap and they may say with see that with amazement, then, oh, how talented you are, you are making such wonderful sound. But if we see in nature, there are all these animals, birds are there and making all these different sounds, different voices. So how wonderful is that? Who has created all that nature? So we, by observing all this, we can appreciate the presence of God and the creator and the designer behind that. So that's why actually, I don't know, Einstein or Newton made this statement that if somebody observes the nature also, they will be forced to believe in the existence of God. Okay, so text 9, further Krishna says, I am the original fragrance of the earth. I am the heat in fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penance of all the ascetics. So the original fragrance of earth. Now, if we smell that earth, that the original fragrance, and especially when the first rain happens, the first drop of rain falls on earth, there is a special type of fragrance which comes out. Now here, it is very difficult to get that fragrance because everything is concrete. But if we are in a kind of a village setup where you have the dust, the actual soil there, and when the rainfall happen, there is so much fragrance coming from that earth. Okay, so the no perfume can compare to that actually. So Krishna saying, I am the fragrance of the earth, I am the heat in the fire. So in the fire, we see there is light, there is heat. All that is because of presence of the Lord. And the penance of all the ascetics, whatever austerity we can perform, that is also because of presence of Krishna. Previously Krishna says, I am the ability in the man. So whatever we are able to do, right, whatever movements we can do, our intelligence to think, our strength to carry certain things, all that comes from Krishna. And Krishna is mentioning that in all these verses. So text 10, Krishna further says, O son of Pratha, know that I am the original seed of all existence, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of all the powerful men. So ultimately, we should understand everything comes from Krishna. But we sometimes try to claim of being the creator, that, oh, we have created so many things. We have created the skyscrapers building. We have created so many different instruments, machinery, and all that. But ultimately, everything comes from Krishna. To be able to create anything, from where is the raw material coming? If we are creating this big, big houses, to create the house, what is the material used? The wood, the sand, the cement. So all these raw ingredients, from where does it come? It is coming in the nature given by Krishna. We are just taking them and making into different shapes. And we try to become the creator, right? We try to claim ourselves as the creator. So we may be making all these different objects, but everything, behind everything is Krishna. So Krishna says, I am the original seed of all existence. Okay? The intelligence of the intelligent. So here, let's say these days, there is so much trend of filing patents. Okay? People file patent. And recently, actually, in America, they filed the patent for turmeric also. Okay. So they filed the patent that they discovered turmeric. Now, if we really see, turmeric has been existing for years and years, but nobody has filed any patent. And if somebody just files a patent and claims that, yes, we got it, we are the one who discovered this, and they try to put everything on their name. But in actual sense, that thing has existed since long time. It's that nobody else has tried to take a credit of that, but now somebody comes and try to take a credit and put it on their name. So intelligence is there, but it is misdirected intelligence. We want to utilize our intelligence to do the wrong things, or try to take the credit of certain things, try to become the creator or the maintainer or the enjoyer. But Krishna says this intelligence is actually also coming from me. I am the intelligence of the intelligent. So if we learn what Krishna is explaining, we can see Krishna in everything and everywhere. So when we drink water, when we see the sky, the sun, the moon, the fruits, vegetables, birds, everything. So when we observe all these things, we can see Krishna everywhere. So the saintly people, of course, they have attributed the beauty, the brilliance, and the knowledge of their work also to the mercy of the Lord. Okay? Because the saintly people, they will acknowledge that, yes, everything is because of the Supreme Lord. If we are able to write some poetry, if we are able to write some philosophy, that is also because of Krishna, because everything is coming from Krishna. So Sant Tulsidas, he writes, ना मैं किया ना कर सकूं, साहिब करता मोर, करता करवाता आप है, तुलसी तुलसी शोर. So what is Tulsidas is saying here is, I haven't done anything, and neither I have the ability to do anything. Na मैं किया na कर सकूं. I haven't done anything. I have not the ability of do anything. Sahab karta more. My Lord, He is the doer of everything. Karta karvata aap hai. He is the one who is doing or making somebody do it. But the world thinks that this person has done. Okay, so they will give the credit. Somebody may say, oh, you speak so nicely. But what is to our credit? We are utilizing the work of Krishna, the verses of Bhagavad Gita given by Krishna, the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam given by Krishna, the representative of Krishna. We just take those verses, we speak on that, and somebody may claim, oh, you know so much, oh, you speak so nicely. But ultimately, if we really see, there is nothing to our credit. Everything actually is to glorify the Supreme Lord. So in that way, actually seeing everything, we can observe that Krishna is present everywhere. So one need to have that vision to see God. It's just like the Pandavas, when Pandavas were sent to exile. Okay, their mentality actually, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was not thinking I'm going to forest. I've been exiled to forest. But his mindset was that we are going for pilgrimage. Okay, because Krishna is there in the forest also. So we are going on a pilgrimage. And Krishna is telling this Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna on the battlefield, where the whole land is going to be soaked with blood, not water, right? It's going to be soaked with blood. And still Arjuna is taking the time out to understand. And Krishna is telling how to see God, how to develop relationship with God. So we also should develop that sort of vision to see God. There are so many people who want to see God, but they do not have the eyes. They want to hear about God, but they do not have the ability. They are deaf. There are people who want to speak the glories of the Lord, but they are dumb. They do not have the ability to speak. And still, there are so many who have the eyes, who have the ears, who have the tongue, but they deny the existence of God. And who has given them the ability to speak? Who have given them the ability to see and hear? It's all coming from Krishna, but still they deny the existence of God. So that's why from text 12 onwards, now text 12, 13, 14, Krishna says why people deny the existence of God, because all the living entities are under the three modes. All their activities are under the three modes. So chapter 14, Krishna will speak much more detail about the three modes of material nature, the goodness, passion, and ignorance. Here in two verses, 12 and 13, Krishna is just giving a glimpse of these three modes of material nature. Krishna says everybody is covered up by the three modes of material nature. All their activities are under this influence of three modes of material nature. That's why they are not able to perceive the presence of God. Sometimes they deny the existence of God. So everything in this material world is the product of three modes: the place, time, activity, our food, everything is categorized under three modes. There is place also under the influence of three modes. There is certain place who may be more in goodness, like temple, environment, the school and all. And there are places who are under the influence of passion, or the places who are under the influence of ignorance, like the pubs, casinos, under the place ignorant mode of ignorance. Time, time is also categorized under goodness, passion, and ignorance. Early morning hours is considered as a time of goodness. The daytime where everybody is running for their work and all that, that's passion. And late evening hours, night time, that is considered as the time in the mode of ignorance. And then activities, even our charity, the austerity one perform, that also can be categorized in three modes. And the food, that is also divided into three modes: food in the mode of goodness, food in the mode of passion, food in the mode of ignorance. So all these details will come later on in chapter 14, then 17, 18 also. Krishna continues dividing all these different things into three modes. So as there are three primary colors, the red, yellow, blue, or sometimes we say RGB, red, green, blue, and all the other colors are made by combination of these three primary colors. So same way, there are three modes of material nature, and by the combination of these three modes of the material nature, so many different combination and permutations come out. Okay, just like the three ropes, and everybody is bound by these three ropes. Somebody is prominent in the mode of goodness, somebody is prominent in the mode of ignorance, somebody is prominent in the mode of passion. And Krishna says these three modes are also created by me, but I am not under the influence of these three modes. Now again, the Mayavadi concept is God is impersonal, and when he accepts a personal form and comes in this material world, he also assumes a material body. And he also comes under the influence of modes. That is the Mayavadi philosophy. That God is also under Maya. What does that really mean is, it means Maya is bigger than God. Then whatever is bigger than God, ultimately that should be God, right? In that sense, Maya is God. And the Mayavadis will claim, yes, you are also God, I am also God, because right now we are under the influence of Maya. Once we come out of this influence of Maya, you will realize that you are God. That is Mayavadi philosophy. But ultimately, what Krishna is saying, Krishna is completely blaspheming that philosophy here. Krishna says, yes, I have created these three modes, but I am not under the influence of these three modes. I am beyond those. And why people are not able to approach Krishna? Because they are covered by this material energy. They are influenced by the three modes. People in the mode of ignorance, they take shelter of smoking, intoxication, oversleeping, etc. People in the mode of passion, they take pleasure in sex, money, achievements. So whatever the problem is, throw money and it will solve the problem. That is their philosophy. That is their mindset. And people in the mode of goodness, they take pleasure in knowledge. Yes, at least they understand there is something higher, right? So then they start to approach Krishna. So people who are in Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness, or what we call as transcendence, they can understand Krishna. So these three modes are like the colored glasses, okay, which makes our vision also tinted. If somebody is wearing red glasses, you see everywhere, you see everything red only. So when we are covered up with these different modes, especially mode of passion and ignorance, we see the world accordingly, and everything in this world seems to be based on our conception. So that's why people who are too much into mode of ignorance and passion, they cannot perceive the presence of God. They cannot develop the vision to see God. And it is not that Krishna becomes covered due to the three modes. It is our vision that has become covered. Okay. And sometimes the analogy is given that when there is cloud in the sky, sometimes people say, oh, the cloud has covered the sun. But that's a wrong statement. It's not that the cloud has covered the sun. Sun is much more bigger than the size of the cloud. The cloud has covered our vision to see the sun. So same way, the three modes, they are not covering Krishna. They are covering our perception, our vision, that we are not able to perceive Krishna because of this influence of the three modes. So Krishna is not covered by the modes, and Krishna is not under the influence of three modes. We are under the influence of the three modes. We are covered by the three modes. So Maya does not cover Krishna. Maya covers our vision. And text 14 is very, very important verse, which is again quoted so many times. So we'll recite this verse and we'll maybe a little bit more detail, we'll discuss this verse. So text 14, Devehi esha gunmai mama maya dhurattaya mamev ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. Devehi esha gunmai mama maya dhurattaya. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is very difficult to overcome. Mama Maya Dhurattaya. Very difficult to overcome. But is there a scope how to overcome? Mamev ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. But those who have surrendered unto me, they can easily cross beyond it. So text 14 is, as I said, very important. Material energy consisting of these three modes is very difficult to overcome. So is there any way out? Krishna says, yes, there is a way out. How? If one surrenders to me. So if one surrenders to Krishna, one can easily cross beyond it. So let's take this verse into two parts. Okay. So the first two lines, that is about the material nature and it is difficult to overcome. And the second part is how to overcome this. So first thing is Mama Maya. Krishna says this material nature, which consists of the three modes, is mine. Mama Maya. So generally we say Maya is considered as something bad, right? The connotation used for Maya is something negative, something bad, which takes people away from Krishna. Then why it is Krishna's energy, or why Krishna allows Maya to take people away from him? Right? Because Krishna is saying this is my energy. So why did Krishna employ this energy which takes people away from Krishna? So it's not that Maya takes us away from Krishna. Actual sense, it is our desire to stay away from Krishna. And Maya is just testing us how sincere or how determined we are to move towards Krishna. So Maya is just kind of testing us. When we start on this spiritual journey also, Maya will test us, right? Maya will give us some test. Are you really serious about this? Do you really want to progress in spiritual life, or you are still having hankering for the material enjoyment? So there will be some desire. So ultimately it's our desire to stay away from Krishna, and Maya tests us. And it is not that Maya is giving us wrong choices. It is we who choose the wrong things. So very wonderful analogy to understand this. Let's say on an exam, multiple choice exam, the teacher has given question with multiple choices. Out of those multiple choices, one is the right choice and three are the wrong choices. So it's not that the teacher who gave those wrong choices to us. It is we who picked the wrong choice. There is a right choice also, but somebody may pick a wrong choice. So it's not the fault of the teacher that, oh, you have given the wrong choices there. That's why I picked it. So it's our choice, what we want to take as the right answer. So test is just a facility for us to move forward. Right? They have a test at the end of the year in the school to see how much one has learned and are they at a stage to move forward in the next grade now, in the next class. So same way in spiritual life also, there are tests to make sure we are sincere enough to move to the next stage in our spiritual journey. And when we make the wrong choices, it's not that Maya has given forced the wrong choices on us. It is us who have made those wrong choices. So in our life, this situation may come when we try to engage in bhakti. Krishna will give test. It could be in the form of a gift, or it could be in the form of punishment also. So gift in the sense, somebody may get some wealth, somebody may get some nice home, nice car, and after getting those, they may get distracted. Or there may be some punishment in the source of some discomfort for the body, some disease. That is also test of Krishna. So test may come in any way, in form of a gift or in form of some punishment, to see how serious or sincere we are to continue in our spiritual journey. Okay. So for example, incident from Ramayana when Hanuman is jumping across the ocean to go to Lanka. The first obstacle which came on the path of Hanumanji was the Menak Parvat, the mountain of gold. So gold is opulence. So that Menak Parvat came out offering a place of stay as a place of rest for Hanuman. But Hanuman did not accept that. I don't want to take rest. I have to fulfill the work of Lord Ram. And then the next obstacle was Sursa, which is compared as glorification, prasansha. Glorification may come. So it said that some people, they get stuck because of some material opulences, and some people get stuck because of so much of glorification, name, fame. कुछ लोग पदार्थ पाकर अटक जाते हैं और कुछ लोग प्रशंसा पाकर भटक जाते हैं. So very wonderful statement. Sometimes we just get stuck with material opulences. Sometimes we get distracted or bewildered because of our personal fame, glorification. So these are also the tests of Krishna through agency of Maya. Krishna will test us how serious we are. So Mama Maya, Krishna says this material energy is mine. And then Krishna says Durattaya, it is very difficult to overcome. Why it's difficult to overcome? Again, Krishna has facilitated that. Krishna has appointed this Maya to curb our wrong propensities. Just like a child, when a child is very naughty, very troublemaker, he does a lot of pranks. Case the parents try to hire so many babysitters or different tutors, and the child just make them run away, right, with their pranks or something. And then parents hire a very strong, strict babysitter or a strict teacher, which is very strict, and they will force the child to sit down and behave properly. So parents, they were forced by the child to take that step for hiring a very strict teacher for them because they were not behaving properly. So same way Krishna has appointed this Maya because we were not behaving properly. Krishna says, okay, I'm going to appoint this very strict superintendent on you, which is going to teach you the lesson. So same way Maya is like that. And it does not mean Krishna does not love us, but Krishna, he just want us to get straightened. भगवान हमें सुधारना चाहते हैं, सही रास्ते पर लेकर आना चाहते हैं. So he just want to get it straightened. So that's why he has appointed this Maya in this service. And one could then ask, okay, if Maya is Duratya, very difficult to overcome, how then will I overcome Maya? So Krishna answers that in the second part. He says, if one surrenders unto me, Mam ev ye prapadyante, if one surrenders unto me, then by my grace, he will be able to cross beyond this material existence. He will be able to cross beyond this Maya. How? Krishna will indicate to Maya that, okay, now this soul is mine. He has surrendered unto me. So please leave him. Okay. So like once the child has come to the right path, then the parents may tell that tutor or the kind of instructor, okay, now your job is done. You are not needed anymore for this child. So same way Krishna, it indicates to the Maya that, okay, now this soul is mine. Please release such soul from its bondage. And Maya says that, okay, my work was only this much, to keep troubling you until to make sure you turn toward God and reach God. Now, since you have surrendered to God, so my work is done. So now I am leaving. So Maya will also leave that soul once Krishna indicate, now this is mine. So how to overcome? We have to take shelter of Krishna. Once we take shelter of Krishna, then we can overcome Maya. And ultimately, Maya is Krishna's servant. And whatever master say, servant has to follow. Okay, just like again, very wonderful example or analogy to understand. If you go to your friend's home and your friend has a very big dog sitting at the entrance, and as soon as you approach the entry door, the dog starts barking at you. He is ready to pound on you, jump on you, just barking and barking. So if you say keep quiet, the dog may not keep quiet. But if you call your friend, okay, and just call him and say, oh, I'm outside and your dog is barking, your dog is troubling me, the friend will come out and he will indicate to the dog, hey Tommy, keep quiet, sit down, and the dog becomes quiet. So same way, when we call out to Krishna, when we approach Krishna, my Lord, I am yours. Please help me cross beyond this material existence. I am troubled in so many ways here. I am now surrendered unto you. So when we sincerely show our surrender to Krishna, our sincerity that yes, I am serious on this path, and Krishna will indicate to Maya, okay, now keep quiet, let him come towards me. So that is how we can overcome Maya, when we take shelter of Krishna. And one thing very clear, we have to understand, all our wrong choices, all our faults, they are not caused by Maya. They are chosen by us only. Maya is also divine because that's energy of Krishna. Krishna says, this is one of my energy, Mama Maya. And Krishna's Maya is divine. And its purpose is also divine. That is to make us surrender to the absolute truth, make us surrender to the Supreme Lord. And all the temptations, they trouble us as long as we are not determined in service of Krishna. When we surrender to Krishna, when we become determined to serve Krishna, then we become free from the influences of Maya. And that is the desire of Maya, that is the desire of Krishna. So Krishna has just appointed to correct all of us as stubborn children, right, who are the troublemaker. So text 15. Now, text 15 and 16 are again two very famous verses where Krishna is talking about the four category of people who never approach the Supreme Lord, and then the four category of people who start to move towards the Supreme Lord. So first verse, text 15, Krishna is talking about the four type of people who never surrender to Krishna, who never approach Krishna. न माम दुष्कृत नो मूढ़ा प्रपद्यन्ते नराधमः माया अपहरत ज्ञाना आसुरम भावमाश्रितः. So न माम दुष्कृतिनो मूढ़ा प्रपद्यन्ते, न माम प्रपद्यन्ते. So these people do not surrender unto me. Dushkritino, these type of miscreants. And specifically Krishna categorizes them in four. Mudha, the grossly foolish people. Naradhamah, the most fallen among the human beings. Maya apharit jnana, whose intelligence has been stolen by the illusory energy. Asuram bhavam ashrita, who have taken shelter of the demoniac nature. So these four category of people, they do not take shelter of Krishna. Again, what are these four category? First is Mudha, the grossly foolish. So we'll discuss in more little definitions of these. So grossly foolish, Naradhama, the most fallen among the humans. Maya Apharit Jnana, whose intelligence is stolen by illusory energy. Asuram Bhavam Ashrita, who have taken shelter of the demoniac propensity. So Krishna says these four category of people, they never surrender unto me. So first of all, the atheist people, right, the atheistic plan maker, they are described here by the word dushkritino. Dushkritino means the miscreants. Kritina means performing some work, meritorious work. Dushkritino means performing the wrong type of work. So these people, they are completely atheistic. They make their atheistic plans. So they are the miscreants. And even though these atheistic plan maker, sometimes they may be very intelligent, right? They may be, from the worldly point of view, they may be doing big achievements. They may have gigantic plans, good or bad, and they take a lot of intelligence to execute those. But their atheistic brain is improperly utilized in opposing the plan of the Supreme Lord. So that's why they are called Dushkritino. So these four types are Mudha. What are these Mudha? So these are the materialistic people who are too busy with earning or fulfilling their self-imposed duties. So we can very clearly understand what Krishna is referring to these Mudhas. So they are just materialistic people. Their whole agenda is that we want to work hard in this world and attain something material benefits. Okay, just do it. Their philosophy is just do it. And by our own endeavor, we can become happy in this life, we can become successful in this life. And they have no time to hear about the Supreme Lord, to turn towards the Supreme Lord. So they have no interest in spiritual life. Like a donkey who lifts a lot of weight on its back, and ultimately at the end, what does he get? Some dry grass to eat to fill his belly, which is available anywhere. But the donkey works so hard for the master, even at the risk of being beaten up by the master. When he sleeps, again, he is always under anxiety that my master can come and beat me up. So, same way, the materialistic class of people, they are too busy working hard, working hard, working hard to fulfill their so-called duties or self-imposed duties. Right? We have just created all these self-imposed duties. I want to fulfill this, fulfill that, this obligation or that obligation. So we call so many people to come to temple, to come to spiritual, our satsang programs. And most of the time people will say, oh, no, we are too busy. We do not have time, right? We have so many activities to do. And on the weekend, we have to finish so many other things, so many other chores and all that. What are all these? These are all, again, self-imposed responsibilities. So when people are too busy with their own materialistic life, they are categorized here as mudha. Okay, that's why there's a very beautiful saying, रात गवाई सोए के दिन गवायो खाए, हीरा जन्म अनमोल था कोड़ी बदले जाए. They are just wasting their whole time, daytime in working hard, eating, nighttime in sleeping. And this human form of life, which is so valuable, they're just wasting this human form of life. So somebody met a sadhu in the train and asked the sadhu to teach the child who was interested in eating simple khichdi. So the parents were forcing the child, see, eat these nice preparations. There's so much kaju kishmish. And this child was more interested in eating khichdi. And the parents were a little disturbed. They were thinking, why this child is want to eat simple, where we have so many nice preparations. And they told the sadhu, you please make him understand that eat the opulent food, why he want to eat simple thing. And the sadhu said, actually, it is good if your child is attracted to simple living. Why you want to force him to make his life complicated? But that's the whole dogmatic philosophy here. People are in a rat race. They have their lives complicated and they want to make their children's life also complicated. They think if my child also gets into the same rat race, then his life can become successful. And if the child is showing a symptom for a simplistic life, people become little anxious about that, or too much concerned about that. अरे कहीं हमारा बच्चा साधु ना बन जाए. So these are the mudha class of people, materialistic people who have no interest in spiritual life. And then the second category is naradhama. Naradhama means the most fallen among the human beings. So we know there are 8.4 million species of life, 84 lakh yoniya. Among that 8.4 million, there are 400,000 species as human beings. So 4 lakh yoniya as human being. So what does this 4 lakh categories under human being means? They are based on the level of consciousness. So these naradhama means even though they have got the human form of life, but they still do not show any interest in spirituality, thinking, let me just enjoy. That is the ultimate goal of life. And they Even though after getting a human form of life, they live like the animalistic propensities. So even though getting the human form of life, but just eating, mating, sleeping, defending, that is their whole agenda. So that is Naradhama, most fallen among the human being. Then the third category is Maya Apharita Jnana. From the material calculation, material point of view, they may be great learned person, great philosophers, poets, scientists, but the illusory energy misguides them and therefore they disobey the Supreme Lord. So Maya Bharatas are, they have the knowledge, but they are deluded about the essence and purpose of life. They are directing all their intelligence in fulfilling the wrong purpose. For example, in the beginning, we discussed this intelligence is used in making artificial rain. Okay, let's have the rainfall happen in artificial ways, cloud seeding. So that is misdirecting the intelligence. Somebody has the intelligence and making the plan to rob somebody, right? Doing a big robbery. For doing that big robbery, that also requires intelligence, but that intelligence is misdirected. So Maya Apaharata, their intelligence is misdirected. Again, this is based on their own desire. Maya is just facilitating that. Different options are given and they're always picking the wrong options. So they may be very intelligent people, they may be big philosophers, scientists, but they are not turning towards God. They are spending their time and energy in proving that God does not exist. Right? Everything can act without, everything can continue without the need of God. So our criticism is not for science. Of course, many of us are in a scientific field, but our criticism is toward this materialism, which is to promote their own ideology. So they are eager to push forward their own theories, but unwilling to accept the natural consequences. They are not ready to understand the consequences. So even among the scholars of Bhagavad Gita, so Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that even among the scholars of Bhagavad Gita, there are many Maya Bharatas. Why? Because in Bhagavad Gita, in very plain and simple language, it is stated that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Okay, many verses it says Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So it is very clearly stated that Krishna is the supreme Lord. But when they write the commentaries, they will say, no, you don't have to surrender to Krishna. You have to surrender to the unborn within Krishna. And Krishna is himself saying, Matta Paratram Nanya, there is nothing superior than me. There is no one equal to or greater than him. He is mentioned even as the father of Brahma, not only the father of Brahma, but the father of all the species of life. He is the root of everything. He is the root of the impersonal Brahman also. He is the super soul of every living entity. Okay? He is the fountainhead of everything. But still, despite all these clear statements, the Maya Bharata Jnana, they deride the personality of the Supreme Lord and consider him to be a merely human being. That's why there is another beautiful verse which comes in chapter 7 also, chapter 9 also. Krishna says that fool deride me when I appear in a human like form. When I accept incarnation in this material world, when I descend in this material world, the fools deride me, thinking that I am a ordinary human being. I have accepted a material form. So those are also Maya Apharita Jnana. Even though they may pose themselves as a big philosophers, but their intelligence is misguided, misdirected. And then the fourth category is Asuram Bhavam, people who have taken to the demoniac nature. They want to work against Krishna. They want to defy Krishna. So there are fanatic people who propose their own ideas, right? And they try to destroy the faith of others. So in the history also, there are so many people like Kamsa, Ravana, Hiranyakashipu who wanted to deride the Supreme Lord, who wanted to defeat the Supreme Lord and work against him. And in the current times also, all these Islamic and Christian evangelists, they want to destroy the other's faith, saying, no, our philosophy is the right philosophy. So in brief, Krishna is saying these are the 4 category of people. Again, by the combination of these 4 to different degree, it can give rise to many different combination permutations. It's not that there are only these 4 types. So sometimes somebody maybe as a combination of these 4 also, or combination of 2 or combination of 3. Sometimes we may also have some tendency like that one of these, but in a small extent, right? Sometimes we also may have small tendency out of these 4 categories. So these are the 4 category of people, or the combination of these 4, which do not approach the Supreme Lord. And then there are 4 which Krishna mentions in the next verse, that these are the 4 category of people who try to approach towards me, who start to approach towards me. And we will discuss that in the next session. Starting from text 16, we'll discuss in the next session. So we'll stop here today. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Let's see if there is any discussion, any questions.
Yeah, Prabhuji, one thing I said, the things you quoted was Abraham Lincoln says that I can understand when looking at earth that man can deny God, but when he looks at the heaven, how can he deny the God? Because you are not managing anything there, it's all happening there. That was a sentence by Abraham Lincoln. Another thing interesting, what you said is same thing Tulsidas was saying, that तुलसी तुलसी सब कहे तुलसी बन की घास जब कृपा भई राम की बन गए तुलसीदास. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you for quoting that. Okay, anything else? Okay, no questions, no discussion points. Everything is very clear, or everything above the head. Rahul Prabhu, anything?
No, Prabhuji, I joined a little late, so sorry about that. Got some problems with my teeth today.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
I'm able to talk too much.
Yeah, I can see your face is also a little. You have some teeth extraction?
Not yet, but getting there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Think Ravi Shankar Prabhu.
Good, Prabhu. Nice lecture, but yeah, it was good, Prabhu.
Okay, I'm yet to send the assignment for chapter 7 in advance, and many devotees are yet to submit their assignments for chapter 6.
Yeah, Prabhu. I'm lagging way behind, Prabhu.
Okay, buckle up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if no other discussion questions, so we can end it here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Lord.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.